Hello everyone. Today we are going to do the detailed explanation of the second chapter of our English textbook Honeysuckle, How the Dog Found Himself a New Master. Before starting the lesson, we will see before you read part. So let's start. You may know that the dog and the wolf are closely related, means dogs and wolves belong to the same family. You may also know something about how over the centuries human beings have domesticated and tamed wild animals. Wild animals have been mastered and tamed by man over centuries. Here is a story about how the dog became a tamed animal. The story given below informs us how a dog changed into a tamed animal. Now let's start the explanation of our lesson. Dogs were once their own masters and lived the way wolves do in freedom until a dog was born who was ill pleased with this way of life. He was sick and tired of wandering about by himself, looking for food and being frightened of those who were stronger than he. Dogs and wolves are closely related family, and there were times when dogs used to wander and live freely just like wolves, without any restrictions, without any foundations. Once such a dog was born who was sick of finding food for himself, and he was also frightened of those who were stronger than him. He thought it over and decided that the best thing for him to do was to become the servant of one who was stronger than anyone on earth, and he set out to find such a master. After thinking repeatedly, he thought and thought. He decided to work as a helper. He decided to keep a master who was stronger than anyone on earth. So he started searching for the strongest one. He walked and walked, and he met a kinsman of his. Kinsman means relative. He met a relative of his, a big wolf who was as strong as he was fierce. "Where are you going, dog?" the wolf asked. "I am looking for someone to take up service with. Would you like to be my master, wolf?" Take up service with means become the servant of. Fierce. Fierce means frightening, fearsome. He walked and he walked and he met a kinsman of his. After a long walk and search, he met one of his relatives. He was wolf. The wolf was not only strong but also had a frightening look. He was fearsome. He asked the dog where he was going. The dog replied that he was looking for a master and if the wolf would like to be the one to be his master. The wolf agreed and the two went on together. They walked and they walked, and all of a sudden the wolf lifted his nose, sniffed, darted quickly off the path and into the bushes and crept deeper into the forest. The dog was much surprised. "What's come over you, master?" he asked. "What has frightened you so? Can't you see? There is a bear out there, and he might eat up both of us, you and me." They walked and they walked. After walking a long distance, suddenly, the wolf sniffed. The wolf smelled and he darted. Darted means he moved quickly and went deeper into the forest. He was detecting something and was trying to hide. The wolf was trying to hide. The dog was unable to understand this behavior, so he asked his master what was affecting him. Then the wolf told him that there was a bear who might eat them. Seeing that the bear was stronger than the wolf, the dog decided to take up service with him, and he left the wolf and asked the bear to be his master. The bear agreed to this readily and said, "Let's go and find a herd of cows. I'll kill a cow and then we can both eat our fill." The dog realized that the bear was stronger than the wolf. The dog changed his mind. He left the wolf and he went to the bear. He asked bear to be his master. The bear agreed to it easily. He suggested him to search for a herd of cows. Herd of cows means group of cows, so that he could kill a cow to fill their stomachs. To fill their eat means to fill their stomachs. They walked on and soon saw a herd of cows. But just as they were about to come up to it, they were stopped by a terrible noise. The cows were mooing loudly and running in a panic in all directions. After walking some distance, they noticed a group of cows. But as they tried to reach them, they were stopped by a horrible noise. Terrible means horrible. A terrible noise. The noise was made by cows. They were mooing aloud. They were mooing aloud. Cows were mooing aloud and were running here and there because of fear. The bear looked out from behind a tree and then he too ran hastily deeper into the forest. "Now, why did I have to come here?" said he to the dog. "It is the lion who rules the forest in these parts." "The lion? Who is he?" "Don't you know? He is the strongest beast on earth." "Well, then, I'll say goodbye to you, bear. I want a master who is stronger than anyone on earth." The bear looked from behind a tree and started running quickly into the dense forest. He told the dog that this part of the forest was ruled by the lion. He was the strongest and the most powerful animal on the earth. The dog was surprised to hear this, and he immediately left the bear. And off the dog went to ask the lion to be his master. The lion agreed to it, and the dog stayed with him and served him for a long, long time. It was a good life, and he had nothing to complain of, for there was no stronger beast in the forest than the lion, and no one dared touch the dog or offend him in any way. Now the dog went to the lion and requested him to be his master. The lion accepted, and the dog started staying with him, and served him for a longer time. It was his good life. He had nothing to complain of because there was no stronger animal in the forest than the lion, and no one could dare to touch the dog. But one day, the two of them were walking side by side along a path. that ran amid bare cliffs, when all of a sudden the lion stopped. He gave a great roar and struck the ground angrily with his paw, with such force that a hole formed there. Then he began to back away very quietly. "What is it, master? Is anything wrong?" asked the dog, surprised. "I smell a man coming this way," the lion said. "We would better run for it or we will be in trouble." "Oh, well, then I say goodbye to you, lion. I want a master who is stronger than anyone on earth." Cliff. There is a word, cliff. Cliff means high rock. Sometime later, one day, the two of them were walking side by side along a path that ran amid bare cliffs when all of a sudden the lion stopped. One day, they were strolling together. They were walking together amidst high steep rocks. Cliffs. Cliffs means high steep rocks. The lion stopped instantly. He roared aloud and struck the ground with his paws so intensely that a hole was formed there. After that, he was on back foot. Surprisingly, the dog asked his master if anything was wrong. The lion told him that a man was coming their way and that they must run away to save themselves. Hearing this, the dog bid him because he wanted the strongest being on the earth as his master. When the dog saw that the lion was afraid of the man, he left him and he went to the man. And off the dog went to join the man, and he stayed with him and served him faithfully. This happened long, long ago, but to this day, the dog is man's most loyal servant and knows no other master. After leaving the lion, the dog went to be with the man. He stayed with him and became his faithful friend. This incident took place way back. This incident happened a long time ago, but till date, the dog is man's most faithful servant. So, students, did you understand how the dog chose man as his master? So, the lesson is complete. Thank you.